My name is Ryan Carter. I'm 32 years old, and I work as a senior systems engineer focused on streamlining supply chain processes for heavy construction firms. My family runs Carter Brothers Building Materials, a well-regarded mid-sized supplier across the state of Ohio. On paper, everything in my life looked flawless, especially because tomorrow I was supposed to marry Lauren Harper. This wasn't merely a love match. It was a calculated merger between the Carter and Harper clans. Lauren's family owned Harper and Partners Realty, a major property development company and by far our largest customer. I was the linchpin who would overhaul Carter Brothers' back-end systems and fully integrate them with Harper and Partners platforms. The wedding would seal business relationships worth tens of millions. If you love ice-cold payback tailies with jaw-dropping turns, smash that like button and hit subscribe. Brand new, never-before-heard stories drop here daily, each one darker and more gripping than the last. I truly loved Lauren, but I wasn't blind to the financial side of our union. Trust had always been my strongest trait, until the night before the ceremony, when I learned it could also be my greatest weakness. I'm a man who thinks in flowcharts and probabilities. I map out every move like lines of code. That precision would soon become my sharpest weapon. The betrayal struck from the two people I never suspected. On the evening before the wedding, while final touches were being made at the Marriott in downtown Columbus, my entire world imploded in a way I could never have scripted. The rehearsal dinner had wrapped up hours earlier. I was nursing a drink at the hotel lounge with a few out-of-town guests when Nathan Cole, my best friend since freshman year and the best man, slid onto the stool beside me. Nathan has always been reckless with his devices. As a systems engineer, that habit drove me insane. That night he left his iPhone face up and unlocked while he stepped away to the restroom. The screen flashed with a new message notification that froze the blood in my veins. It was from Lauren. The preview alone raised red flags. Still can't stop thinking about what you sent. Something primal told me to swipe. What I found inside the thread turned my stomach. A video Nathan had recorded of the two of them together in her suite only hours earlier. I recognized the room instantly. I'd dropped off her garment bag there myself that afternoon. My fiancé, my closest friend. My immediate impulse was to smash his face when he returned. Fury detonated inside my ribcage like a bomb. But half a second later, a colder, analytical voice took over. Not here. Not worth a felony charge. With shaking yet deliberate fingers, I airdropped the file to myself before he came back. When Nathan sat down again, grinning and raising a toast to tomorrow's big day, I somehow kept my expression neutral, something I didn't know I was capable of. The footage, shot by Nathan himself, apparently as a trophy, laid bare the ugly reality. Lauren and Nathan together, mere hours earlier in the bridal suite. Double betrayal from the two human beings I trusted most, less than 12 hours before I was supposed to say, I do. The white-hot anger quickly cooled into crystalline focus I'd never felt before. My engineer's brain kicked into overdrive, drafting blueprints for retribution. I would keep the secret until we stood at the altar. The payback would be public, devastating, flawlessly executed, and legally untouchable. Looking back, the warning signs had been there. Over the past couple of months, I'd noticed a new closeness between Lauren and Nathan. Conversations that halted when I walked in, lingering looks I'd dismissed, casual touches I'd written off as wedding stress familiarity. My instincts, razor-sharp at sniffing out flaws in million-line codebases, had completely missed the human deception. But once the truth was exposed, my strategic mind pivoted entirely to engineering the perfect countermeasure. I spent the rest of the night laughing with guests, shaking hands, accepting congratulations. Inside, I was architecting the most critical deployment of my life, not logistics software, but a delivery system for pure justice. Sleep was impossible. While Lauren slept soundly down the hall, convinced her secret was safe, I worked harder than I ever had on any deadline. As an engineer, I know flawless execution demands flawless preparation. First, I scraped their entire chat history. Weeks of incriminating texts, additional clips, explicit photos, proof it had been going on far longer than one drunken mistake. While I planned our honeymoon in Aruba, they'd been mocking me behind my back. I mirrored every file to an encrypted off-site vault, evidence secured. But proof alone wasn't enough. I needed maximum blast radius. My mind designed the perfect payload. The ceremony was booked at Grandview Pavilion, an upscale riverside venue overlooking the Scioto. 200 attendees, key clients of both Carter Brothers and Harper and Partners, plus a Facebook live stream for distant relatives. I built an automated broadcast system on my private cloud cluster. A timed script would push the most damning clip simultaneously to every phone number on the guest list via SMS, with a short link to a burn-after viewing server I spun up for the occasion. Timing was everything. The payload would detonate the instant the officiant asked for vows. I ran load tests half the night, triple-checked the contact list, verified delivery across all carriers. Technically bulletproof, legally deniable. Wedding morning arrived and I felt strangely calm. I ate my usual Saturday stack at Waffle House, skimmed the dispatch, cleared a few work tickets. Normal routine, because for me, in a way, it was. Nathan showed up at the hotel around 10, buzzing with excitement, slapping me on the back, telling me how lucky I was to lock down Lauren. Every syllable was acid, yet I smiled and nodded. "Bro, you're ice cold for a guy about to get hitched," he laughed while straightening my bow tie. "You know me," I answered. "When the planning is solid, there's zero reason to sweat." He had no idea how loaded that statement was. Around noon, Lauren called, voice dripping with bridal excitement. "Baby, I can't wait to become your wife today. It's going to be magical." "Couldn't agree more," I said evenly. "Today will be unforgettable." She heard romance. I meant something else entirely. By 2 o'clock, guests were streaming into Grandview Pavilion. Family, business partners, college buddies. Even the lieutenant governor had RSVP'd yes because of the Harpers' deep Democratic connections in the state. I ran one final ping, servers green, payload armed, countdown synced to my smartwatch, fail-safes in place. "Ready, man?" Nathan asked, clapping my shoulder. "More than you'll ever know," I replied, locking eyes with him. We rolled up at 3:30 sharp. The venue was breathtaking, white chairs in perfect rows, blush roses everywhere, the altar framed by the river and the city skyline behind it. 200 guests in their finest. Pastor Jenkins, who'd baptized me, beamed from the stage. My mom was already dabbing tears. Lauren's father, William Harper, pulled me into a bear hug. "Welcome to the family, son." "Thank you, sir. I hope our partnership exceeds every expectation." 15 minutes to go. Then Lauren appeared at the end of the aisle in a $28,000 Monique Lhuillier gown. She was radiant. For one fleeting second, I almost wavered. Then my eyes found Nathan standing beside me, smirking at the woman he'd just slept with, and the steel returned. The music swelled. Lauren glided forward, certain she was walking toward forever. I knew she was walking into the end. She reached the altar glowing. Her father placed her hand in mine through happy tears. Pastor Jenkins began. We stood in silence while 200 guests watched. Lauren squeezed my fingers and mouthed, "I love you." Nathan held the rings like he hadn't shattered my life 12 hours earlier. The ceremony flowed normally, scripture, reflections on commitment, until the moment for personal vows. "Ryan, would you like to share your vows with Lauren?" I took the microphone. "Lauren," I began, voice steady and amplified across the entire venue, "I prepared something truly special for today." Her smile flickered. "Last night I uncovered a truth that changes everything, a truth everyone here deserves to witness." Her face drained of color. "You and Nathan, my best man, my brother since college, thought I'd never find out." I tapped execute on my phone. Within seconds, the first phones began buzzing, then a wave. In under a minute, nearly every guest stared at their screen, mouths falling open. "Nathan was thoughtful enough to record everything for me," I continued into the mic. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Lauren lunged for the microphone. I stepped back. "Ryan, please, let's talk privately." "No, Lauren, you kept it private. I'm making it public." Nathan finally found his voice. "Dude, you're blowing this out of proportion. It was one mistake." "One?" I cut in. "Your chat log says 3 weeks minimum." Chaos erupted. Guests stood, some bolted for the exits, others couldn't look away. Pastor Jenkins tried to intervene. "Ryan, my boy, maybe we should." "With respect, Pastor, this wedding is over." William Harper shot to his feet, face purple. "This is absurd. You're throwing away years of strategy over some misunderstanding." "Misunderstanding," I replied coolly. "Mr. Harper, I recommend you open the link before you use that word." My mother reached the steps, tears streaming. "Ryan, honey, what is happening?" "Mom, Lauren has been sleeping with Nathan. I won't marry her." Lauren's mother, Catherine, rushed the altar. "Ryan, please, people make mistakes. Lauren is pregnant. Think of the child, think of the companies." There it was, the card I knew they'd play. I raised the mic again. "Perfect timing, Mrs. Harper, so everyone knows there's a baby involved." Lauren was sobbing now. "No explanation needed," I said. But since paternity seems unclear, I publicly recommend a DNA test so we all know who the father actually is." The crowd went dead silent. Nathan stammered, "You're insane. This is humiliation." "No," I answered. "You humiliated yourselves." I turned to Lauren. "Can you look me in the eye and swear it's mine?" She crumpled to her knees on the altar, dress pooling around her like surrender. I don't know," she whispered into the microphone that someone had handed her in the melee. "It might be Nathan's." You could have heard a petal drop. 200 people watched two powerful Ohio families implode in real time. I faced the crowd one last time. "I'm truly sorry you traveled here expecting a celebration. I only learned last night that I cannot tie my life to someone who doesn't respect me. Thank you for coming." I slid the ring off my finger, set it gently on the altar beside the kneeling bride, and walked away. Nathan tried to grab my arm. "Rye, we can fix this." Nothing left to fix. Enjoy the consequences. I strode down the aisle while cameras flashed and whispers roared behind me. Some guests looked at me with pity, others with something close to awe. I didn't care. I drove straight to my condo in the Arena District, packed 2 suitcases in 20 minutes, and left Ohio that same night. Not fleeing, but removing myself from the circus I knew was coming. Over the following weeks, as I crossed the country, my assistant Megan kept me updated. The clip had escaped the wedding. It was all over local WhatsApp groups, private Facebook shares, group texts. Columbus was on fire with gossip. 2 weeks later, the paternity test I demanded in front of everyone finally happened. William Harper forced it to try to salvage some dignity. Results: Nathan was the father. Megan's email read, "You called it. Harper and Partners has already lost 4 major bids. Nobody wants the drama. The city's $60 million riverfront project just pulled their contract." I felt no triumph, only closure. I drove the Natchez Trace, hiked Zion and Arches, spent 10 days staring at the Pacific in Big Sur. Every mile stripped away another layer of pain. 3 months post-non-wedding, I spoke at a supply chain tech summit in Denver. Afterward, a familiar voice called my name. "Ryan Carter? No way." Megan Walsh, brilliant developer from my OSU days, someone I'd always respected but never dated. We grabbed coffee. She never brought up the scandal, though she obviously knew. "You seem lighter," she said, "like you survived a war and came out stronger." "Something like that," I admitted. We stayed in touch, long emails, late-night video calls. 6 months later, I relocated to Denver permanently. Carter Brothers was 98% remote anyway. I shifted to high-level consulting nationwide. Denver felt like oxygen. Megan and I built something real, slow, honest, no hidden agendas. 2 years after the wedding that never happened, we married in a quiet sunrise ceremony at Sprague Lake in Rocky Mountain National Park. 20 people total, 0 drama. Back in Columbus, the fallout kept rolling in. Lauren had the baby, a boy who was unmistakably Nathan's. They got married eventually, a grim courthouse affair born of obligation, not love. 2 people chained together by their own destruction. Harper and Partners never recovered their former prestige. Key investors cashed out. William had to sell minority stakes at fire sale prices. Nathan was let go from his agency. No reputable firm in the state would touch him. Last I heard, he was selling Subaris on the east side. Carter Brothers, freed from the political weight of the Harper Alliance, actually thrived. We posted a 23% profit jump the following fiscal year. 5 years later, Megan and I welcomed our daughter Harper, my quiet way of reclaiming the name. Then 2 years after that, our son Liam. We built a life rooted in genuine trust. Every so often when I'm back in Columbus visiting family, someone quietly updates me. Lauren and Nathan are still in town, but they're ghosts, rarely invited anywhere that matters. About 6.5 years after the almost wedding, I bumped into Lauren at a crowded mall. She was pushing a stroller. Her little boy was asleep. She looked worn, eyes older than her years. "Ryan, Lauren," she hesitated, then said softly, "I just wanted to say I'm sorry. You didn't deserve any of it." I nodded once politely and kept walking, because some chapters close forever the moment you step away from the altar.